hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Freelancers Mindset Shortcast. It's so good to be here and thanks so much for your support till now. Today we have one of my good friends. We met during college and I've known her for almost a decade now. And there have been a lot of different stages in her career, which is what we're going to talk about today. Hello, Dhruvi. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
Yes. So Dhruvi is a social media strategist with almost 4 years of experience in social media marketing. She has worked with over 30 clients in industries like healthcare, fashion, retail, real estate, F&B, and even more. She can help transform your brand into an extraordinary one. That's how good she is, and I can vouch for that. So now, Dhruvi, the first question I'll ask you is, I have known you in college and we have explored a lot of different things, and both of us decided to leave journalism and come to marketing. And I guess you worked at a corporate company for a while and now you're into freelancing. So tell me a bit more about that journey and why did you choose to come from full time to freelancing as a career?
Okay, so like you said, we all started with journalism, but sort of found our way with marketing after that. So I worked at two different companies. I have worked at two companies so far. Both are marketing agencies.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to learn a lot. One thing is that I got to learn a lot of different things because again, I don't come from a marketing background. So I learned on the job. I learned as I did things. So I
Mm-hmm.
was lucky enough to do that. I was lucky enough to learn that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after a point when it comes to agencies, at least, I think it's the case with any job, but like it starts to get a little monotonous after a
Yeah.
point because you're doing the same clients, the same role, the same
Mm-hmm.
routine, everything. And why I decided to shift right now is because I spent a lot of time. I spent almost 4 years doing this, and I was freelancing and working at the same time. So I quit a job after 3 years because I think it was just you don't have a lot of control in terms of what kind of clients you want to work with,
Mm-hmm.
what process you want to follow. Because when you're in a company, there is a set process that is laid out for you, and you have to adapt to that. And while that may help us work together, but after a point, I think I wanted to do something on my own because not everyone works the same way. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, maybe venturing into freelancing as a full-time thing it came from that because I wanted to have my own schedules. I wanted to sort of pick the clients that I want to work with
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to just do whatever comes my way.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to pick that I have that I want to work with, the kind of schedules that I want. And one thing I would say has been a blessing as a freelancer is that I am directly pitching my ideas to the client. I don't have to go
Correct.
through an entire hierarchy of like five people,
Yeah.
explain my ideas 10 times, add in their iterations, add, change
Mm-hmm.
more things. Yeah. If a client has something and they want something, they tell me and I give it to them. I think that is it's the freedom of choice basically.
Yeah.
You get the do however you want to do, and you can directly explain it to the client also. There's nobody like standing behind you telling you what to do, and which is
I
a
know.
good thing when you're I think when you don't know what you're doing, that is a blessing. When
Yeah.
you don't know what you're doing, when you're new to the field, when
Mhm.
you're trying things, it's very good to have somebody behind you helping you, you
Mhm.
know
But
taking the
not
fall for you.
breathing down your neck and micromanaging
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, exactly. So it gets too much after a point. I think once you've done the job enough and you know the skills, like you know what you're doing,
Mhm.
might as well take the risk and get out and do
Mhm.
something else. Because
Yeah.
the work remains the same, only the processes are different. So
Mhm.
I like that. I am somebody who likes working on my own. So it's a personal choice also.
I can relate to that actually. That's one of the main reasons I left freelancing because I left my full time job because I felt I had no growth after a point. I had to wait an entire year for an incentive or a hike or
Exactly.
something. But as a freelancer, you can choose to grow, you can choose to get one extra client or anything like right now. You deal with the repercussions, but then you have more control over all that.
Exactly. You can lighten your workload, you can increase your workload, you can expand your client this thing,
Mhm.
you can do what you want to do.
Yeah. So, what was your transition like from full time to freelancing? So, what I did, I was very scared about not getting enough clients, of like, I would lose all the clients I have and then never get clients again. So, I remember being in my full time job, and for almost 2.5 months, I continued a freelancing career on the side. and only when I matched my full-time salary with my freelance salary, I put down my papers. So what was that transition like for you? Was it similar to mine where you did both at the same time and then gradually came into this, or did you just take the leap and leave your full-time job and you jumped into this at first?
So that's a very, I don't think you're going to get the answer you expected.
Okay.
So I
Yes,
tried the whole,
option.
I will match my income thingy. And I think for a while I did, but then because like, I sort of lost my mind doing it because I was
Mhm.
tension at work, and then there's more stress for you at home also when you're freelancing, then there's no time for personal life and everything.
Mhm.
So I was able to do it, but then I was
Right.
just scared to get out of my job and take up freelancing full
Right.
time. So
Hmm.
I sort of, slowed down on my freelancing for a while and focused on the job. And then when I focused on the job too much, it's like, oh my God, I chose wrong. I should have just gone there.
Mhm.
That's when it happened. So
Hmm.
I was just like, this job is it's done. I'm fine. 3 years is enough time to give a company. It's okay.
Mhm.
So then I decided, and then very, very tiny little space for your personal life.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to, take a step back somewhere.
Hmm.
But at that point, I sort of decided to take a step back from freelancing and focus on my full-time job because my appraisal was near.
Right.
So that is
Hmm.
my effort.
Comfort
So
zone.
yeah, exactly. But I think after a point, I think I realized that I shouldn't have done that. I should have just gone into freelancing. Like I
Mhm.
should have just done that at that time because
Mhm.
I didn't like the way it was happening. And I'm not saying a job
Right.
is bad, but I think for
Hmm.
me, I think I prefer this because I get to make my own decisions. So I just, woke up one day and decided I'm going to quit my job without any
Okay.
backup, without any backup, without any freelance clients in hand, nothing. I said, okay, I'm going to start from scratch. I'm not going to reach out to any of my old clients because
Hmm.
I didn't want to.
It's the
So I
part.
thought I'll just start fresh. I'll just, clean slate.
Clean
So
slate.
I quit my job 4 months back and I was like, okay, time to start again. So that
Yeah.
is where I am right now.
I mean, nice. I also, you mentioned that you prefer to work alone, whereas when I got into freelancing, the first thing I found very difficult was it was so lonely. I really wanted people to collaborate with. Like, yeah, I had friends I could go out with for lunch. I had my family I could talk to. But like how you said, you prefer to work alone. I am a very extroverted person. I actually like those brainstorming sessions. I don't mind if the meeting could have been an email, but we still end up at the meeting. I'm that kind of person. So, do you think freelancing is very lonely? How do you cope with that? Or for your personality, do you feel this is what your dream life looks like?
I don't think freelancing is a lonely profession as such,
Hmm.
but like I said, even I love the brainstorming sessions. I love sitting with the team. I love talking to people. I love being around people. But when I want something, when I want to concentrate and do something, even in the office, I used to find like a silent corner over there and I used to work. So when I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. But I think it's not a lonely profession.
Hmm.
Like like you said, I think it differs from person to person. I prefer being alone when I'm trying to ideate or something. And collaboration is something that you can do as a freelancer. I am not sure about other people, but
Hmm.
for me, I work as a social media strategist. So
Hmm.
if I want to collaborate with someone, I have designers, I have other
Yeah.
strategists, I have copywriters that I can talk to, I
Hmm.
have videographers that I can talk to. So I have like people to work with every now and then. It's not a completely lonely.
Hmm.
So I think that helps maybe. I'm not always working alone. I'm always working with
Hmm.
somebody for something. I call my friends, I call my
Okay.
fiance, I call my mother, I call my sister. I just call whoever possible just to get
Right.
out of my own head.
Hmm.
So I just get out of my own head. Sometimes that itself is enough. And if you need ideas,
Hmm.
luckily for me, I have colleagues from both my jobs that I'm still in touch with. So I
Hmm.
sort of do that. Sometimes if
Right.
nothing works, I just go back and look at my old work. Say, hey,
Oh,
you did
that's
that.
good.
You can do this. If you can do that, you can do this.
I
So
do. I do
that
that
is
too.
one way.
I try to recycle my old work and make it like old wine in new
Yeah,
bottle sort of thing.
exactly. We call it repurposing. So
Recycle, exactly, yes. So, what would you say is the mindset shift you had when you came into freelancing? you had all of these experiences and you had a certain notion in your mind when you started freelancing. But compared to a full-time job, what were some mindset shifts that changed for you? Like you had to adopt this new thought process in order to survive and grow in this field.
Honestly, like if I'm being brutally honest, it humbled me.
Okay.
Humbled me to a point where I was like, you don't know anything.
Right.
Not in those terms, but it's easy to work at a job because like I mentioned, there are a lot of people that you're working with. So you have interns, you have juniors, you have seniors, so you can split the workload and it's easier for you to do it. So when you're alone, the first thing that I did was to just, set a process for myself, create a process for myself. And the mindset shift as such is that if I can do this on my own, if I can achieve all of the things that I did at the agency without anybody's help, this is it for me. Because I am someone who does not like working under somebody because I'm just like, I have ideas, please don't reject them. I want to use them. I know this will work.
Oh.
So the main it's the challenge, I think, the mindset shift, because it's easy. Jobs are easy. And freelancing, it's like there's a lot at stake there personally. You put in a lot of yourself out there. You have to put yourself out there. You have to work out there. You have to do so much. So the mindset shift in terms of all of that is just a challenge, an opportunity for growth, because I knew that I was getting too comfortable there and I needed to know whether I can survive out of that place. So if I can survive doing all of this on my own after doing the whole job thing, I will consider myself successful.
Right. I mean, a big mindset shift for me was breaking out of my people pleasing attitude. So I
It's still there.
I know, like since I am also a people pleaser still, but when I was in an agency, when a client confronts me, I have to think on behalf of the entire team. Like it's not just a one-on-one decision for me. I have to retain this client for the whole team. So I would butter them up, I
Exactly.
would talk really nicely. And if they confront me or any negotiation or anything at all, I would butter them up a lot. But when I started freelancing, if a client confronts me, I don't have anybody to hide behind. I have to defend myself. I have to stand
Yes,
up for myself. I
exactly.
have to speak
Exactly.
firmly. That was a huge mindset shift. Like putting myself first was very hard for me. So that was a big deal for me to overcome. Now, I remember I saw one of your LinkedIn posts where you said you tend to compare yourself to other people who supposedly do better than you in life. So, what's your take on that? Like, how do you avoid this comparison as a freelancer? How often do you deal with it? Is it something on the everyday?
It is something on the everyday basis. So the thing is that it's human nature, I think. I'm not saying that it's difficult for me and it's not difficult for another person. I'm sure that that person also has worked really hard to get where they have, but I am not in the place where they are, and I'm not in the
Right.
place where I need to be because I'm still working on it. So I think it's human nature to compare yourself. You cannot escape that, but how you deal with it is different. So if you choose to focus on that no, this person is doing so much better than me, they are doing where they are where I want to be, and you start to sort of focus on that, you lose focus on everything else. I think that happened with me like a while ago, where I just started like focusing on, okay, maybe I should change my strategy, maybe I should try different type of clients because this worked for that person, maybe it'll work for me. And that's not the
Right.
way to, that is really not the way to go. Learned it the hard way. So I think because it's very easy to get like overwhelmed looking at so many people, because there are a lot of freelancers out there, like a lot of them. So we don't know who's doing what. We just know the facade that's being created on social media.
Yeah.
It's very kind of authentic people who really want to create a community, really want to help each other out. It's very difficult. So
Yeah.
I think um, I if to answer your question very directly, I don't think the comparison will ever stop, but I think how you just come out of it is important.
Very
So
true.
if you see that okay, person A is doing something, like for example, you and I went to college together. We start our education together. We ended up in different places, and look at us right now.
Right.
So very different. So you've had a completely different journey. I've had a completely different journey. So just because somebody else is doing something, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means that it's not the time for you. It'll come.
Yeah.
maybe you're on some different path. So that is the way I convince myself, or I explain it to myself. Like, you do
Mm.
you, do what you're good at, do what you have planned, and things
Mm.
will automatically come to you.
For sure. I think that's a very important mindset shift as well people need to get, because I tend to compare myself to people who are totally different from me, like not even within the content
That
writing
also
space.
people who are like way above like where I am
Yeah,
right now. Like,
I'm
how do I get?
comparing my day one with someone's day 100 when they are like a graphic designer or a astronaut or something totally
Yeah.
unrelated to what I'm doing.
And like then there are thoughts like, did I choose the right career path for myself?
Yeah,
Am is this going to work out? Should I go back to my job? Should I just
I know.
what am I supposed to do?
I know when this chat GPT came in, I was like, I think there's no scope in my career path right now. I think I should just give up. I was
No, I
comparing
wasn't
myself to
scared.
chat GPT.
My concern was that, oh my God, I have to learn another thing now. I have to do this all over again. No. But it started to irritate me so much because every single person is using ChatGPT, and I'm just like, people are not stupid. We know what you're doing.
Hmm.
Learn how to and then use it.
Yeah.
So I was not scared the job will go. I was scared that some other person who knows how to use it better will take my job.
Yeah. Hmm.
Then it's-
Makes sense.
apart from that, no, I just don't like ChatGPT when people are misusing it because I'm just, hey, I
I know
worked so
I'm
hard to get
really
this. I
irritated.
worked so hard to get such ideas. You are getting it at a moment's notice.
Exactly. I
It's a very
used
petty,
to
but still.
I was actually speaking to one of my friends, like I am so happy I started my career in the generation before ChatGPT because now I know I can survive
Yeah,
without it. I can work
exactly.
8 hours a day entirely with my brain alone, no support. I can handle 8 clients at a time with no automation. And if a client asks me
None
for a
whatsoever.
tagline or
Exactly.
something, yeah, if the client asks me for a tagline and I should come up with 5 ideas and I have no idea, I can't just go on ChatGPT and say, give me 100 ideas and then take 5 from it. I would go to sleep, I would wake up in the morning and the idea would hit me and I would feel like a genius. So that's
Yeah,
how
exactly.
I got it.
I think that authenticity is important when you're doing this kind of work because it's very easy. I
Yeah,
think ChatGPT should be used only for research purposes.
I know. Or
When
at least,
you need to get data on something, or
yeah.
when it like you can just read it and then sort of get inspiration from it
Hmm,
instead of just copy pasting it. Because if I see
yeah.
one more person telling me to elevate something from
In the
somewhere, I'm
marketing
just
landscape,
yeah, I cannot.
if somebody has genuinely come up with ideas on their own, the way they present it and they speak about it
See,
is totally different. If it's like
and like
completely took from ChatGPT, I mean, it's like how when you're writing an exam, if you studied hard and you wrote it and you get a good grade, you'll feel happy. But if you just copy it from somebody else, you're not even proud of your grade. You can't even talk about it proudly to
you
your
cannot say
parents.
that very exactly.
Yeah,
And one thing is, if you have not come up with an idea on your own, there is no way you can defend it. So, because
exactly.
I had situations where the client has blatantly like been extremely rude to me and asked me, "What is this idea? Explain it to me. I don't understand." And
Hmm,
just like, and then you have to take like an hour of your day just trying to convince the
yeah.
client and explain the idea. I don't think you can do that if you're just automating your content.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way
So
for you
true.
to take stand on what you're doing because
Mm-hmm.
I think 90% of handling clients is just begging them, please, this is a good idea. Trust me on this. Trust me on this. It's a good idea.
Nice, I
That
can
is the
relate. Speaking of
that
the
is
digital marketing landscape where you're elevating your clients, what are some trends that are going on that that you think people should know about, and what are you mainly into? How's the whole space? What would you comment on that?
I could say AI is trending, influencer marketing is trending, all of that is obviously there. But I think right now, what most people forget is that the audience is a lot smarter than we think they are.
Yeah.
So I think authenticity is sort of trending right now, if that is the right way to say this. I don't
Mhm.
know. But
Authenticity
in
is
terms
in.
of correct. So it should be a mandate. It should be something that just comes within, but it's not because I think there was a time where people used to just, confuse the audience with like paid content, organic content, and
Mhm.
people used to work away, but I think audience is smarter now.
Mhm.
So authenticity is trending.
Mhm.
And apart from that, I think personal branding is something that, in terms of
Yeah.
social media, is what I'm saying,
Mhm.
I think personal branding is something that is really coming up right now. So,
Mhm.
uh, yes. So to answer your question in like the traditional sense, I would say AI is trending, automation is trending, and a lot of machine learning also to some point. A lot of
Mhm.
basically it's just everything is just your screen and different plugins and different
Mhm.
things and help from everywhere. I sound like a 90-year-old grandmother, but okay.
No, you don't. I mean, one of
So
my
there's a
clients
lot of
told me
different
the same.
trends. Yeah, there's a lot of different trends. Video content is trending, like wherever you go, be it
Mm.
Instagram, YouTube,
This
LinkedIn,
podcast.
even podcast, videos. People's attention span has reduced to like 5 minutes.
Mhm.
So videos are trending right now. So videos also, there's so much to do. So I miss writing. I miss people
Yeah.
reading things.
Oh. I mean, one of my
So
clients told me that what's trending right now is tools. Like if you're saying you
exactly.
yeah, if you have like 5 6 years of experience in a field, but still you sit and do everything manually, then you're not experienced enough. The more experienced you become, the more tools you should know, and the more you should be able to automate your work so that you can focus on more important things. So he asked me how
Yeah.
many tools I know. I knew barely 5 or 6, and it was a very humbling moment for me.
Yes, freelancing, I think the constant learning curve is that it humbles you every day.
Yes, you
Because
don't know
there is
everything
no
yet.
like you cannot say this sentence anyway. You cannot say, let me check with the team and get back to you. You
I
cannot.
know.
You are the team. So you just have to say, I have to get back to you
I have
after I
to
do something.
learn this.
I need to do this. Because otherwise it's just you're just gonna make yourself sound stupid. But
Mhm.
there are so many tools. It's so difficult to like keep track of all the tools and make sure you're using them right and doing the whole thing. And
Mhm.
so it's just too much. But I think
Right?
you have to sort of adapt with the times. If you're not
Yeah.
updating yourself, you are sort of useless. Especially if you're a freelancer, because your money depends on that.
Mhm. So, my final question to you before I let you go, what would be your one message to somebody who is about to start freelancing? Maybe you from a couple of years back when you were in an unfulfilling job and you just wanted to quit it, you want to take the leap and come into freelancing. But when you were in that two-mind situation, what is one message you would tell to the past you?
To new freelancers, I think it's just it's going to be very scary. Not in terms of oh my God, I don't know what to do. It's going to be scary because you know everything that you're supposed to do. You may know everything, but until you're actually doing it, you will not know. So that fear is always just going to be there. You should take it up and do it. If you think you're not ready for it right now, maybe take some time, learn more things, and then come to it, because once you start doing it, there's going to be a lot of things coming to you, thrown at you, that you may not know. And
Mhm.
it's okay. It's okay not to know sometimes, because that's how you learn. And it's easy to get scared by watching so many coaches online saying get 6 figures in 6 weeks and get this in this much time. Don't get scared by all that, because
Yeah.
they probably don't know what they're doing. And if they know also, it's their thing. So it's very easy to get lost in a crowd, because there is a crowd of freelancers. It's very easy to lose focus. It's very easy to like, just get scared and run. Running is the easier option, just going back to the stability of a job. But I think that the confidence that you get after being a freelancer, and that
Mhm.
sort of sense of achievement that you get, that I did all this all on my own, I think it's
Mhm.
worth it. Worth
Right.
all the irritation, the long
Self-doubt,
working weeks, the self-doubt, the
imposter
everything.
syndrome.
Let's not go to important. Let's not go there. I will go into an existential crisis then. So it's
Yeah.
it's very easy to lose track of your own journey. You lose your way, but stay focused.
Yes. Perfect. Then thanks so much, Dhruvi. Thanks for your time. And thanks to everybody who tuned in. Hope you enjoyed the episode. I personally had a lot of takeaways. And I will leave all of social media links in the description so that you can reach out to her for all your branding and social media requirements. She is one of the best ones. I can vouch for that. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your time, Dhruvi. And see you next time.
Thank you for having me here.